When you're around here, you feel it. America's heartland, a slower pace of life until we get here. Because we like to drive at top speeds. We like to be tough, and we're not sorry about it. And if anyone slips, even for a fraction of a second, we will take the upper hand. Time is picking up. Our season is gaining traction. Some of us are ready to separate from the rest of the pack. So this place becomes more than just the heartland. It's where some of us will make our mark, some will fail, and others will do anything to mix it up, to prove who can escape unscathed and one step closer. Today, the championship is just a little bit closer, and we can see it looming in the distance. It's races like today in Iowa, where championship contenders will emerge. You'll want to see what happens next, right here at Iowa Speedway.
Championship contenders will want to shine as we've made it to the heartland for the American Ethanol 200 from Iowa Speedway. Drivers we've got to keep our eye on tonight. Ryan Blaney, he's got a Ford that could spoil Toyota's reign as they have been dominant in 2014. He's won at this track back in 2012. A two-time winner in Iowa, and this race's defending champ is Timothy Peters. Timothy is trying to get back to victory lane in 2014. To get there, he'll have to get by Kyle Busch Motorsports. They make up the front row, with Eric Jones starting in the second spot, still looking for his first top 10 of the year. And his teammate, Darrell Wallace Jr., riding the momentum of his win at Gateway and runner-up finish in Kentucky. Our last race out, he has won the pole and will bring the field to the green flag tonight at Iowa Speedway. Trying to have a multiple win season is Darrell Wallace Jr. Kyle Busch Motorsports has been dominant in the year of 2014. As Kyle Busch has won 5 races, Darrell Wallace has won another 6 races for that team. Let's get the engines fired. We go trackside for tonight's command.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command for today's running of the American Ethanol 200 presented by Enogen is Steve Blyle.
Drivers, start your engines.
The engines have come to life as we get closer to the start of this one, and the green flag will fly for Kyle Busch Motorsports. They make up row number 1. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you once again. 2 of the storylines that we're going to have to look after will be the close racing that takes place here at Iowa, as well as restarts. Very pivotal at this racetrack. Let's start first with close racing, Phil.
This is a wide racetrack here. There's a lot of room for these guys to maneuver. It's a fast racetrack, just under 1 mile in length. But we have progressive banking here. 12 degrees at the bottom, all the way to 14 degrees at the top. So you would think these guys can race all over this racetrack, and they do race all over this racetrack. But believe it or not, ironically, they still fight for space. Here's Ty Dillon, the 3 truck, getting squeezed in the fence by the 51 of Eric Jones. There's another look at it right there. So these guys fight for space. There's Timothy Peters getting a little bit of trouble getting to the outside wall here. That's not going to be all his trouble, though. Timothy Peters is going to have some trouble with our eventual winner, James Busher. That's James in the 31 truck getting into the 17 of Timothy Peters. He gets turned around. He collects Ty Dillon in the 3. After the win right here, James Busher, on his cool-down lap, Timothy Peters said, hey, I didn't like really getting taken out like that. So, Michael, they're going to be some close racing here, but no closer they're really on the restarts.
I just love the restarts. They're going to be out of control. These guys know that they got to jump while the iron's hot. They've got guys in their sights. They want to make moves. Check it out. Look at Johnny Sauter all over the back of our leader, Timothy Peters. Ron Hornaday was leading the race going on the restart. Peters drives away with the lead there. But it's just not the front two, Phil. All throughout the field, you know you can jump wide. You can get 3 and 4 wide. This track is wide, despite the fact they all want to run into each other. It's a wide racetrack, and you have a lot of opportunities on these restarts to grab a spot or 2.
All right, you guys have given us a broad overview. Let's look at the details of this racetrack in our Camping World track description.
And there's the key right there, the 12 to 14 degree banking in the corners. That's what allows these guys to race all over this racetrack.
What I love, Rick, is they'll be down on the apron, running right on the bottom of the racetrack, but also there's grip up top. You can run right next to the wall, so they'll be spread out all over the racetrack.
Our race analysis also brought to you by Camping World. Look at that pit window. 90 to 95 laps. This race is only 200 laps.
Yeah, just shy of halfway. And then the reason we estimate 2 pit stops, these guys really only have 2 sets of tires in the pits. They only had 4 sets for the entire weekend, and they used one of those up in practice.
Knockout qualifying took place earlier today. That is where we saw Darrell Wallace Jr. and Eric Jones shine as the two of them make up row number 1. As we take a look at our starting grid, they will be row 1. Again, it's Kyle Busch Motorsports. It's the second time that they have taken over the first 2 spots in a Truck Series race. Timothy Peters, Ryan Blaney making up row number 2.
See, Cole Custer, he's been strong in his few starts. Matt Crafton, he would have a huge point lead, Rick, but he's blown tires leading twice.
Justin Lofton had a runner-up finish his last race out, doing a nice job on that 20 truck.
Herman Quiroga and Joey Coulter making up row number 5.
Quiroga's so close to winning this season already. Look for him to be strong tonight.
Great qualifying efforts by both Brian Silas and Jeff Chiquette. Career best for those 2 drivers.
Back here in row 7, John Hunter Nemechek. Again, this is a racetrack under 1.25 miles, just 17 years old. He can run in this one.
Solid qualifying effort for Tyler Young. There's Tyler Reddick as well.
How about Johnny Sauter all the way back in row number 9? We talked to him earlier. He said, we usually race better than we qualify. He needs to do that tonight.
Ben Kennedy, another one of the Turner Motorsports trucks, tucked in the back in row 10.
Taylor Mossum's been strong in the long run during practice. Look for him to move through the field.
Mason Mingus had a top 10 earlier this year.
Justin Jennings, TJ Bell back in row 13.
This is an opportunity. We talk about this being an opportunity to race. It's also an opportunity for a lot of drivers to make their debuts, because this is considered a short track by NASCAR. These guys can have maybe some limited experience to get an opportunity to race here versus racing on 1.5 miles where they have to run someplace like this first.
We see a couple names that you don't normally see in the Camping World Truck Series at the back of the field. Now let's go trackside to Hermie 7.
Well, Rick, the Camping World Truck Series this year obviously has been dominated by Toyota, and we have a normal cast of characters that usually knock on the door to go to victory lane. But tonight at Iowa, how about a couple dark horse choices to keep your eye on tonight? Number 1, Justin Lofton, a past winner in this series. Only 2 starts this year, a 10th and a 2nd. His last time out at Texas, he's with a good race team, NTS Motorsports. He could go to victory lane tonight. And let's give a shout out also to the 21 truck of Joey Coulter right behind him. 3 top 10s here for Joey Coulter at Iowa Speedway, and that truck has slowly battled its way to the top 10 in points. 2 dark horses to watch tonight. Ray?
You know, Hermie, there are 2 drivers that have completed every lap here at Iowa. One of those is Johnny Sauter, and his average finish at this track, 4.9. Sauter very, very good when it comes to short track racing. But as Phil said, tonight he'll roll off from 18th. Not a good qualifying effort, and throughout practice, Sauter was not very happy. I have to tell you, his crew chief, Dennis Conner, is a 27-time winner in this series. If they're able to keep up the consistency that they've had throughout this season, Dennis Conner may have to pull some kind of a rabbit out of his hat tonight. We'll see if Sauter can get up front. They've had 1 bad run this season. That was at Kansas, and this is the very same truck they raced that night.
And as you see the trucks making their way around the racetrack, we're going to ride along with a few of them. Take us through it, guys.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with the 13 of Jeb Burton. Jeb was a winner last year at Texas in his rookie season, and he will start his Estes Toyota from the 13th spot.
Let's hop on board with Ryan Blaney. Ryan starts from the 4th position. He's won here before in the fall of 2000. Toyota, like you mentioned, Rick, a stranglehold on victory lane. Ryan Blaney's got a fast forward. Can he get to victory lane for Brad Keselowski Racing? He's going to have a good shot at it.
Let's also ride along with a 2-time winner here, Timothy Peters. He will start his Red Horse Toyota from the 3rd spot, looking for number 3.
This is the best seat in the house, boys. We're going to hop on board with Bubba Wallace, setting on the pole in his Toyota Care Toyota. Last 3 starts, second, first. Last 2 finishes, 1st and 2nd. Can he make it another win tonight? He'll be strong in his Kyle Busch Motorsports Toyota.
They have been extremely strong. In 2014, as you both mentioned, Toyota has been dominant. And once again, it's an all Toyota front row. This time, it's all Kyle Busch Motorsports up front. Darrell Wallace Jr. has decided that he thinks the fast line will be on the inside. He chooses the inside line as the field makes their way out of turn number 4. Stands are full, the people are on their feet, and the green flag is in the air. Teammate battling as they go through Turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Darrell Wallace Jr. out front.
Eric Jones, the teammate in the 51, may have given Bubba a little bit of a break there.
AT&T UVerse TV. Enjoy entertainment on your TV.
A little bit of a bobble by Bubba. Jones backed off the gas.
Turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Darrell Wallace Jr. out front.
Eric Jones, the teammate in the 51, may have given Bubba a little bit of a break there. He gave him enough room to clear him off at 2.
Yeah, it looked like Jones had a good run up on the outside on Bubba, but a little bit of a bobble by Bubba. Jones backed off the gas, and teammates are 1 and 2.
A great opportunity for a Ryan Blaney or a Justin Lofton, drivers of other manufacturers than Toyota, to maybe steal a win here in the Camping World Truck Series.
There's Lofton right there in the 20 truck, pretty good. See that 00 Cole Custer. Cole had a 6th place finish at Gateway after sitting on the pole. That's a young man that will be a contender tonight, I think.
Along with Ron Hornaday, he was in that mix as well, and we know what Ron can do on the short tracks. And he's making a move there onto the inside of Custer. It's tough sledding down on the bottom, Phil. You can get a run on somebody, but completing the pass is tough. We know Ron likes to dive hard down into the corner. He was able to drive in under Custer and grab that spot. Now Lofton's trying to do the same.
I think Cole realized, it's way too early to be battling that hard here. Ron got underneath me. Let's let him go. Cole Custer has some experience here in the K&N Series. He dominated a K&N race here a year or so ago.
A lot of times the K&N Series has their battle between the East and the West right here in Iowa, a centrally located racetrack, short track that both series come out to try to find out who the best in the country are.
Rick, I'm going to keep my eye on that red and white truck running in the 5th place right there. That's Timothy Peters. All throughout practice, he was very happy with that truck. Looks like he's just biding his time racing here with Ryan Blaney and Matt Crafton. But Peters could be a guy that you're going to have to beat if you're going to win this race.
We talked about the different lines here. There were 3 different lines there through 1 and 2 for these 3 trucks we're watching.
This is a racetrack that has progressive banking, 14 degrees up top, all the way down to 12 degrees near the yellow line as they go through each turn. Still out front, it's teammates that have separated themselves from this pack of 3. Ryan Blaney running in the 3rd spot, Matt Crafton 4th, but there's your top 2. Darrell Wallace Jr. just in front of Eric Jones.
Matt Crafton is trying to work his way underneath, as you can see right there underneath that 29 truck of Ryan Blaney. He's going to drive it hard down in turn number 1.
And just behind them, that's Justin Lofton trying to make the pass on Hornaday. So we talked about tight competition and how close these guys will run together. Several battles in the top 10 here early in the going.
And in qualifying, you mentioned how close qualifying would be. It was 1/10 of a second that separated our top 5 in the qualifying session, and that's the new qualifying session.
Yeah, it's been that way since they unloaded these trucks. That's why when guys talk about track position and how close things here at Iowa, you see all that room. There's room all over the place, but the trucks are just so evenly matched. It's hard to overcome losing all your track position. That'll be a key tonight, making sure you get on and off pit road properly and you don't give up a bunch of time on pit road.
There's Justin Lofton working to the inside of that 30.
Yeah, these guys have been battling just about since the drop of the green flag. Lofton drives it hard down in the corner, but Hornaday fights back on the outside. Lofton has him cleared now.
Justin Lofton marching toward the front.
I like that.
Took 6th away.
I like that Lofton truck. Looked like he's really strong, able to make that power move on the bottom around Hornaday. And there's the battle for the lead. You see Bubba Wallace able to keep pace with, or excuse me, Eric Jones able to keep pace with his teammate. Looks like Eric might have a little bit faster truck, Phil, here early going.
And already our race leaders are catching up to the slower traffic on the track. Darrell Wallace Jr. has been out front since the drop of the green flag. The gap between 1 and 2 under 3/10 of a second. It's been all Darrell Wallace Jr., but the 51 has been all over his back bumper. Hermie Sadler, what's the 54 team saying?
Well, the business is getting ready to pick up for the race lead, Rick, at the 54. Decent, but his one trouble spot is tight off of turn 2. He's having to feather the throttle in the center in the exit of turn 2. So look for the 51 to put a lot of pressure on the 54 at the exit of turn 2.
And that's exactly what's happening, Hermie. He's able to look to the low side. Phil, I like all that room to the high side. I think maybe Eric Jones could play around a little bit. He's definitely a faster truck than Bubba right now, and they better get something sorted out quickly because here comes Matt Crafton and Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, these guys are coming. These 2 trucks, the team trucks of KBM, were able to drive away from that 3rd place battle. But as Michael mentioned, Crafton and Ryan Blaney now have closed that distance up. They've driven away from Timothy Peters a little bit.
Now, early in this race, if Bubba Wallace sees that his teammate is a little bit quicker, do you give him the opportunity to get by and then fall in behind?
I think Bubba's just running his line. And, if Eric wants to go high and try to make something happen on that part of the racetrack, then certainly I think Bubba would be respectful of the fact that Eric's faster. But right now, Bubba's just diving on the bottom, and Eric's choosing to follow him. I tell you, as a car owner, I know Kyle Busch sitting back in Loudon, New Hampshire, watching this race. It's nervous time. You're 1 and 2. That's a good feeling. But when one truck, the guy second, is faster than the one in first, you just hope they don't bump into each other.
And that's holding up because the guy in third right now is catching both those trucks. There he is right there, Matt Craft in that Menards Toyota.
And right behind him in a Ford, that's Ryan Blaney, the number 29, running in the 4th spot. Timothy Peters back in the 5th position.
We talk about the fact that Toyotas have won every single race this season. We have 3 Toyotas right now running 1, 2, 3. Then the Ryan Blaney we're riding along with. Here's that battle right there for the 6th spot. We have several Chevrolets now right behind Timothy Peters.
Ray Dunlap, how's Justin Lofton doing out there?
He's pretty good, Rick. He's moved up. As you guys documented, he was able to get by Ron Hornaday. He was a bit tight when he was behind Hornaday, but he said right now he is sliding the right front tire up the racetrack a little bit in 1 and 2. The problem is 3 and 4 is really good, and he's able to drive it smoothly. So he told his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, I don't want to make too big of a change whenever we make our first pit stop.
Now there will be a competition caution on lap 45. There's been inclement weather here in the area all day. Actually, we rained out our second practice, so NASCAR has decided that at lap 45 we will have a competition caution.
I love that. It gives the teams a chance to make an adjustment. It's far enough into the tires and fuel where it's perfect timing for a pit stop. This is the truck that's on the move, Phil. Johnny Sauter, he started back deep in the field like Ray Dunlap said earlier. He's raced up to 13th place. In the last couple of laps, he's had the fastest truck on the track. Look at him dive to the bottom and make quick work of Armand Quiroga.
We talked to Johnny early in the show, and he said, hey, we weren't very good. We weren't very good in qualifying, but we normally race better. And it looks like those guys have made the right adjustments, and that truck's moving forward.
Sauter started back in the 18th spot. He's taken away 12th now from Armand Quiroga. So Sauter moving up, challenging to break into the top 10. And look at the gap now between Darrell Wallace Jr. and Eric Jones.
That's why if you're Bubby, don't give up the lead.
Right.
You got to have it taken away from you because that truck has gotten better. Looks like Eric's falling back a little bit. Let's see if we can see anything about these trucks that's different. I noticed them bottoming out, hitting the ground, exiting turn 2 when some of the other trucks aren't. See how low they are there.
That's right in the straightaway. None of the others have done that. And actually, I don't think Bubba's truck did it. Eric Jones's truck, the 51, was the one that bottomed out on exit of 2.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit lower riding, the 54 and the 51.
Low is good.
Well, actually, Kyle Busch was a little bit low after he won Kentucky, and they slapped him on the hand and said low isn't so good here.
Well, too low is not too good.
Yeah.
Low is good, too low is not too good.
Yeah. And now continuing to work around the lap traffic, it's Darrell Wallace Jr. And closing the gap again is Eric Jones. Darrell Wallace Jr. in the 54, Eric Jones in the 51.
Tommy Regan making his debut, moving way over out of the way.
Another one, Brandon Brown in the 86, also making his Camping World Truck Series debut, also giving the top 2 a little room as they continue to click off laps at Iowa Speedway. 26 are complete. It's Darrell Wallace Jr. in front.
Take off on the adventure of the summer and fly in for savings at Camping World, the nation's #1 retailer for RVs and outdoor accessories. Camping World offers one-stop shopping with interest rates at decade lows. Towable RVs starting at $99.95 and payments as low as $109 a month. Plus, buy an RV from us and gain access to our Good Sam Elite loyalty program. Whatever you need, Camping World comes to the rescue.
Awesome!
Call, click, or visit your local supercenter today and see Disney's Planes, Fire and Rescue in theaters in 3D July 18th.
Hey there, can I help you?
Sorry. Hi. We need a new family plan.
How about 10 gigs of data to share and unlimited talk and text?
Oh, 10 gigs sounds pretty good.
Yeah, really good. And for a family of 4, it's $160 a month.
What? Get out of here.
Sorry, are we still doing the whisper thing, or?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
We'll take it.
AT&T introduces our best ever family pricing. For instance, a family of 4 gets 10 gigs of data with unlimited talk and text for $160 a month.
Build anything with the 2014 Toyota Tundra. Toyota, let's go places.
KFC $5 fill-up.
Couple pieces of chicken, gigantic mashed potatoes.
A biscuit and a cookie and a drink. You can eat the cookie first if you want. If you feel that way.
It's your choice. It's amazing.
Every summer, my Nana sends me a check for $5. It's a pain to cash, but when I do, I can buy all of this for $5. I need to write her a thank you letter.
Yeah, you probably should have done that way long ago. Let's chow down.
Spork.
Welcome back to the American Ethanol 200 on Fox Sports 1. After 31 laps, it is Darrell Wallace Jr. and Eric Jones 1 and 2. The two still with about a truck length in between them as they continue to fight for that top spot. And Ryan Blaney now has gotten by Matt Crafton. He runs in the third spot. Crafton back to fourth. Timothy Peters rounds out our top five.
I like what Eric Jones is doing now. He's starting to look around up on the high side, trying to make some ground up there, running where Bubba isn't. That's going to give him more downforce on the nose of his truck. Maybe he can make that move on the high side because he better make it. Here comes Ryan Blaney.
I think that's probably what precipitated that. He looked in the mirror and saw that blue Ford getting a little bit larger in that mirror, and he said, hey, I'm gonna have to do something here. I don't want that 29 truck to catch us.
And like I said earlier, that blue Ford has won here before. Ryan Blaney knows how to get it done, and he's making some ground on those 2 leaders.
Closing the gap on the 51 of Eric Jones. So Ryan Blaney now just 0.2 of a second behind Eric Jones, running in the third spot.
I tell you, there's some heavy traffic in front of our leaders right now.
Already, Darrell Wallace Jr. has put TJ Bell in the 50 a lap down. He's running 26, though 25 on the lead lap. Some team communications between the 54, the driver, the crew chief, and the spotter. Let's listen in.
What's it doing, bud? Just changed a whole lot all of a sudden. Getting on the right front, pivoting really hard. Looks fine from here, clear by 2. And losing grip off the corner. 3, off. It kind of slides the right front and then snaps loose.
That's a difficult thing for a crew chief to understand maybe how to exactly work on. He said he's sliding the right front, which means when he turns the wheels, it wants to go straight. But then when the front tires grip, the back end wants to come around. That sounds like an air pressure adjustment probably that Jerry Baxter will make to that Toyota Bubba Wallace, and hopefully that will address his problems. Maybe take a little bit of air out of the right front and maybe the left side tires. That could provide more grip on exit.
So a tight truck that's snapping loose once they grab.
Well, that typically happens. You try to get that truck turned, you get more wheel into it, and then finally the right front does grab, and then it wants to kick the back end around. So that's a pretty common problem. And as Ryan Blaney was talking about, very, very tight corners here at this little short track.
Well, there's so much speed as you fly down into those corners, and it makes it difficult to get through the center.
Competition caution coming up at lap 45, and a lot of trucks trying to stay on the lead lap.
Under caution for the first time in the American Ethanol 200. Trucks are coming to pit road. The first one that I will see is Justin Lofton at the top. They're going to go with 4 tires here, and they'll load it with Sunoco fuel. His truck was sliding the right front. In the middle, you see Ron Hornaday. His truck was very, very free. He said, do what you got to do to make sure the balance gets better. Hermie?
The 29 of Ryan Blaney started 4th, up to 3rd. They like the truck, especially on the long run. A slight track bar adjustment, 4 tires in field. Now the 54, Bubba Wallace, he has been tight on the exit of 2, 4 tires and air pressure, and the 51 of Eric Jones wins the race off pit road.
So Eric Jones with a better pit stop is able to outdo his teammate. And we heard Darrell Wallace Jr. before the race mention, if I do get in the back, I'll have patience to work my way back up to the front.
Well, he only lost 1 spot.
Yeah, he's not that far back.
Right. Back to second. But what I like, Phil, is this is a perfect time for guys to make some adjustments. We saw trucks like Joey Coulter coming to the front and trucks like Justin Lofton fading. So there was a lot of things that were happening early in the race that these guys have just enough time to understand what they need in order to make their trucks better. These adjustments could be key.
Dustin Hapka in the 74 got turned around in turns 3 and 4, and that was the reason for the caution. It became the competition caution that was supposed to come on lap 45, but NASCAR deemed it close enough. And after 42 laps are complete, this is the competition caution.
Hapka's going to make his way on the pit road. Nice job by Norm Benning avoiding Hapka.
Yeah. And while we have a quick break before the green flag comes back out, let's take a Fox Sports 1 news break and go to Julie Stewart-Banks. We go from the Midwest to the Northeast. Tomorrow, live coverage from New Hampshire returns with Sprint Cup practice followed by nationwide qualifying. Then it's Sprint Cup final practice. Coverage begins at 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Fox Sports, it's your home for complete NASCAR coverage all season long. Field all in line behind Darrell Wallace Jr. and Eric Jones. Green flag back in the air.
How about Eric Jones picking the outside, Michael? Maybe he found something on the outside there for this restart.
Well, I think he knew he got a really good run on Bubba on the first start from the outside. Thought he could take advantage of it, and he was right. That was a strong run off turn 2. See that truck sparking down the back straightaway and taking off to the lead.
Rockets down the back stretch into 3 and 4. His teammate's going to fall into second just behind him, and it's Ryan Blaney running in that Ford in the 3rd spot. Matt Crafton back in 4th. Cole Custer has moved up into the 5th position.
Yeah, good pit work by Joe Shearer's guys for Cole Custer.
How about Ron Hornaday making the move to the inside of Cole Custer, trying to take that spot away.
Watch how far he drives down in the corner. There he goes, right by Custer. He's able to clear him, and then that gives him the ability to wash up just a little bit. If he ever doesn't get all the way ahead of the guy he's trying to pass, that could be trouble.
We'll see that a lot at Eldora, I think, next time out. Don't you?
Yeah. So that was a slide job, right?
A little bit of a slide job, yeah.
And that's what they do on the dirt, and I can't wait to watch.
Coming up in just under 2 weeks. Right now, it's short track racing from Iowa. And Timothy Peters all over the back bumper of Cole Custer trying to take that spot away.
Good side-by-side battle behind them, though. That's Quiroga in the 77, Coulter in the 21. That's a battle for the 8th spot.
Coulter's got a good truck. Just before the caution there, he drove around Justin Lofton for a spot inside the top 10, and looks like that truck's strong tonight.
Here comes Ryan Blaney looking to the inside of Darrell Wallace Jr. for second. That outside line working well, though, for Darrell Wallace Jr., able to hold on to that position.
That's allowed the 88 of Matt Crafton to drive up to the tailgate of that 29 of Blaney. Look at Matt's going to run the high side. 3 trucks in front of him, all on the bottom.
Yeah, I love this racetrack. I love the fact that they have those options to get to the corner. If they can find a different groove that's out there, if they can just make their truck work in it. A lot of times the only option you have is to bump a guy that's running down on the bottom of the track. Here, you can just drive around them.
A little bit more banking as you go up higher on the racetrack. Down at the bottom, it's 12 degrees, and it increases up to 14 as you get to the wall.
4 trucks tied together. Looked like Crafton made a big run on those guys, and now he's fading a bit.
Looked like Bubba's truck bottomed out a little bit on exit of 2, like we saw Eric Jones doing earlier. Blaney all over the back of Bubba.
Very close as they came out of turn number 4, but Darrell Wallace Jr. still holding on to that second spot. Trying the high line as Eric Jones has been hugging the yellow line. Sparks continuing to fly out from underneath these 2 trucks as they come out onto the backstretch and work their way through 3 and 4. And Ryan Blaney again looking to the inside of Darrell Wallace Jr.
I think Ryan Blaney has designs on maybe trying to get by that 54 Bubba Wallace and see what he can do, maybe chasing down that 51 of Eric Jones. Just about there again.
We talked earlier how tough it is just head to head to drive on the inside and make that move. You have to really be brave and dive deep down in the corner like we saw Hornaday do if you're going to just make the pass in 1 turn. Bubba's fast enough to where Ryan's not comfortable with trying to do the dive bomb on him.
This time Ryan Blaney is able to stay right on that back bumper as they went down the front stretch, and they continue to work their way through 2, and it's still Darrell Wallace Jr. in front of Ryan Blaney.
It's not been easy for Ryan Blaney because he has his hands full with that truck, especially when he's underneath the 54 of Bubba Wallace.
Not able to get back in the gas as quickly as Darrell Wallace Jr. is because he's pinched down just a little bit as they come out of the turns.
There's some bumps. There's some character in this racetrack. You can see it from Ryan Blaney's onboard.
Isn't it fun watching those guys bounce around, knowing they're right on the edge of control, doing everything they can?
Oh,
trouble.
Around goes the 23. Spencer Gallagher bringing out the second caution of the night.
Did I say on the edge of control?
That's
just
over
past the edge of control.
He went just over it. Gallagher was running inside the top 20 on the lead lap. He was running 16th that time. At the time of that spin.
He did a nice job keeping that truck up there, not letting it roll down the racetrack in front of oncoming traffic.
So the caution comes out once again. Does anybody come onto pit road?
Absolutely not, unless you're towards the back of the lead lap and want to make some adjustments.
Or you're
Running
Spencer Gallagher.
On the inside of Johnny Sauter, Spencer Gallagher goes around and brings out the caution. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character, leadership, education, healthy lifestyles, and more. For more information, visit foxsportssupports.com.
Another opportunity here for Bubba Wallace or Ryan Blaney to make something happen on this restart.
You know, we've seen 3 and 4 wide on these restarts in the past here, and with the kind of truck that Ryan Blaney has starting down on the inside of that row 2, let's watch and see if he can get the kind of run he needs to maybe take the leaders 3 wide down into turn 1.
Good run early for John Hunter Nemechek. You can see right now he's running in the 10th spot, and right behind him I want to give a call to that 97 Jeff Jaquette. Only runs a handful of races here. He had a top 10 here a couple years ago. Right now running in the 11th spot. A nice job by Jeff Jaquette.
Once again, it looks as though Eric Jones, your race leader, has chose the outside line for this restart. Michael, you had mentioned restart's so important here at Iowa.
Well, it's treacherous too. You know, you get aggressive. You got to get some spots. You're getting a little frustrated. Can't get any track position. Maybe you got to grab a spot here, and that's when action heats up.
Pace car makes its way onto pit road. Fuel back in the hands of Eric Jones on the high side. Green flag back in the air.
Good start by Bubba Wallace. Dead even getting in turn number 1.
Down the backstretch is where Eric Jones pulled away last time, but not this time. Darrell Wallace Jr. fighting for the lead as they go into 3.
Ooh. Eric Jones moving up, giving Bubba plenty of room down on the bottom. Looks like Eric Jones is going to get it back.
Ryan Blaney barely hung onto his truck exiting turn 2. He was down on the inside of Matt Crafton and got really loose. Slid up behind Crafton. Look at there, there's 3 wide.
Crafton takes the 3rd spot away from Ryan Blaney. The battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th right here. Cole Custer, and now it's Timothy Peters on the inside of Ron Hornaday.
Looks like Timothy Peters is going to be able to clear Hornaday. Oh, no, he didn't! He got
into the wall.
Squeezed in the
17 of Timothy Peters. Didn't clear the 30 of Ron Hornaday, and both have damage.
That's a situation where I'm sure Timothy Peters said, you know, I'm almost clear. All he needed was just a little bit of break, and Ron didn't give it to him.
Oh, and around goes the 30. Timothy Peters not happy with the way he was being raced.
Coming to you here, clear low.
So the caution does come out now for the 3rd time.
Wow.
Remember, we saw issues last year at the very top of the show with the 31 of James Busher getting into the 17 of Timothy Peters. Timothy showed his displeasure. After the race, they were running in 6th and 7th, Timothy Peters and Hornaday. Timothy just about cleared Hornaday through 3 and 4. They came off turn 4. Timothy moved up the racetrack. Hornaday just barely had his nose there, and it turned Timothy into the outside wall. And look at the damage on that Ream Chevrolet.
Well, both trucks are in jeopardy of going laps down here. A lot of damage to the 30 truck. Ray, what are they saying?
Well, Ron Hornaday came on the radio and said, guys, I lifted and gave him plenty of room. I have no idea why he didn't clear me. He said, I gave him lots and lots of space. They'll put right sides on this thing and try to keep him on the lead lap, but more work to be done on that Chevrolet.
Wanted to get out in front of the pace car, which is coming up close to him. Take another look at what happens.
See, Timothy Peters looked like he had him cleared for a moment. Then as he moved up the racetrack, Hornaday just barely had his nose there, and it turned Timothy into the outside wall.
It did look like the 17 had cleared the 30 as they were coming out, and right here you see it. He wasn't clear enough.
They went on around the racetrack, and Timothy Peters got into. That's almost at the start-finish line before the contact is made.
If Ron, I don't think Hornaday let off. I think he just thought he still had the track position and didn't want Timothy taking it away from him. And
they get together down the backstretch. That brings out the caution flag. See the damage on both trucks. There's Timothy getting into Ron Hornaday. Timothy took his truck straight to the garage area as he came off of the racetrack.
Garage area in between turns 1 and 2 here at Iowa Speedway for the trucks. Again, Timothy getting into the back of the 30, showing his displeasure at what took place on the front stretch.
Let's take a ride along with Jeb Burton in the 13 Estes truck, and you can see the spin there on the back straightaway. Jeb saying, let's get this sorted out, fellas.
And there was a little contact with some trucks just in front of Jeb, but behind the 2, the 17 and the 30, that were obviously not having a good race with each other.
That was Brian Silas on the 99 getting into the 05 of John West Townley. But again, John West Townley probably backed off seeing both of those trucks smoking up there, and then the contact which turned Hornaday around.
Timothy has climbed out of his truck once again in the garage area. Not happy with the way this one apparently is ending.
He had a great truck too. Timothy was up in the top 5 for most of the race, and obviously a chance at a third victory here is taken away from him.
Yeah, he one of the strongest trucks throughout practice. A lot of people down the garage area says Timothy Peters could be the truck to beat tonight, and contact off turn 4 before halfway, racing for the 6th spot with Ron Hornaday, has ended his night.
And Hornaday once again making sure he's in front of the field as he leaves pit road. The field they've been given the 1 to go sign, so as they go through 1 and 2, they'll get the green flag next time by. The 30 will try to catch up to the back of the pack. Again, this is a little retaliation from the 17, not thinking that he was raced cleanly on the front stretch. He comes to the back stretch and does this.
Yeah, the problem with that is there's a lot of other trucks on the racetrack too. Fortunately, it didn't catch any of the rest of them up in it.
Watch what all Jeb Burton had to deal with during all this contact.
As you mentioned, Brian Silas getting into John West Townley as all of that was taking place up front. Now the field is 2 by 2 once again. Eric Jones is your race leader. Darrell Wallace Jr. to the inside running second. Green flag back in the air in Iowa.
Watch Crafton, he's right there.
Trying to make it 3 wide for the lead. Eric Jones with a good restart. He takes the lead, but the battle's now on for second. Here comes Matt Crafton looking at the inside of Darrell Wallace Jr.
Michael, you talked about what happens on the restarts here. Matt Crafton took a good shot that time at Bubba Wallace, wasn't able to do anything with Bubba, and now it looks like Ryan Blaney's going to be able to get that spot back from the outside. Somebody's into the outside wall.
Armand Quiroga. Quiroga into the outside wall hard.
Flat spotted or flat sided that 77 truck. Now Cole Custer in the 00 on the outside of Armand.
Wow, and Joey Coulter acted like Custer wasn't even there. He just drove up.
I'd be careful being on the outside of that 77 truck. Now he could have a tire rub from where he got into the outside wall.
We talked about frustration about not being able to make any progress. How about the way these guys are racing each other?
Well, there's what, 10 laps to go, right?
Yeah, I guess there must be.
We haven't even made it to the halfway point.
But we're tired of giving. We're taking now, Rick. It's officially on.
Armand Quiroga still trying to take away that position from Cole Custer.
How impressive is a 16-year-old kid, Cole Custer? He's just been competitive, gets in there and mixes it up with the veterans, does a nice job of racing his truck.
See, right behind them, there's Jeff Jaquette, the 97 we talked about. Ben Kennedy has made a nice move up into the top 10 in that 31 truck.
Yeah, struggled during qualifying, didn't have good practice today, but man, now he's right up in the thick of it. Raced inside the top 10. He's on the outside of Jaquette.
New sponsor on that 31 truck, heater.com. We talked to Ben earlier. He's pretty excited about that.
They were able to do a little testing this last week on a dirt track, trying to get ready for Eldora coming up in about a week and a half.
And he said that was a blast.
What about Quiroga? He runs into the wall, but he's still fast. He's able to run side by side with Cole Custer. He can't finish the deal, but man, he's holding strong down on the bottom of the track.
See him giving Cole plenty of room on the outside.
While all this is taking place, still out front, it's Eric Jones, and he has put a half a second between himself and teammate Darrell Wallace Jr., who's running in the second spot. Ryan Blaney, Matt Crafton, and Joey Coulter, they're your top 5. There's your top 3, though. Again, on the restart, it was Eric Jones having to battle with Matt Crafton and Darrell Wallace Jr. Now Crafton has dropped all the way back to 4th, and Eric Jones is your leader. Welcome back to Iowa Speedway as the American Ethanol 200 closing in on the halfway mark. He's completed 78 laps, and it's Eric Jones out in front of teammate Darrell Wallace Jr., Ryan Blaney running third, Matt Crafton is fourth, and Joey Coulter is fifth. Cole Custer, the 16-year-old, running in the sixth spot.
You talked about how good that 51 truck has been this year. Kyle Busch has won every time he stepped in that truck. Eric Jones has raced it 3 times, does not have a top 10 finish, but he's had some speed. He's got taken out in a couple of accidents, and boy, would he like to put a number on the board here tonight.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to win at Gateway over in St. Louis late in the going and got in a crash there, so he's been really fast. Obviously, this kid has a ton of talent, and he's showing it right now. He's just driving away from his teammate Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney.
A full 0.2 of a second faster that time than his teammate Bubba Wallace, as well as Ryan Blaney.
They're second and third. Ryan Blaney back in the 29. Behind Darrell Wallace Jr.
We speculated that when the 51 of Eric Jones was following Bubba Wallace earlier that he had a better truck. He just wasn't able to get by him. He won the battle off of pit road, was able to withstand a couple challenges on some restarts, and right now obviously showing that he has the fastest truck.
In our Camping World race analysis before the green flag flew tonight, we mentioned the pit window between 90 and 95 laps. The first pit stop was made on lap 41. If they stay true to the fuel mileage, they could do the rest of this race on one more pit stop in the 130 range.
Yeah, and they only have one more set of tires on in the pits too for most of these teams. They only had 4 sets for the weekend. They used up a set in our one practice session. Now they could probably use that in the case of emergency, but they only have one good set of tires left with very few or no laps on them.
Here comes Ryan Blaney looking to the inside of Darrell Wallace Jr. That's a fight for the second spot.
It looks like Bubba's going to let it go, too. He moved up high. I think he got tired of being aggravated by Ryan Blaney and said, okay, right now you're better than me. Let me see if you're taking a different line. Maybe there's something I can learn by following you, and I can make an adjustment. Get with Jerry Baxter, my crew chief, make an adjustment and try to get better as you race toward that next pit stop that you spoke of, Rick.
And now we'll see if Ryan Blaney can catch up to Eric Jones. He had put a second and a half between he and Darrell Wallace Jr. That's the gap now between Ryan Blaney and Eric Jones. We'll see if that gap closes.
Well, that time by, he was a 1/10 of a second faster than our leader. So that number 29 Ford of Brad Keselowski Racing is strong. See if he can run down Eric Jones in that 51 truck.
The 77 of Vermont Quiroga just a few laps ago got into the wall, flat-sided that 77. Hermie, has the handling gone completely away on that truck?
Well, no, Rick. I mean, actually the opposite. We'll see a couple laps ago in traffic right after a restart. The 77 right here coming off of turn 4 gets up high out of the groove, and bam, right there. A little bit of contact on the right side of the truck. Now, his crew chief, Butch Hilton, told him just to feel it out for a couple laps, but he's been fighting a very loose truck since the green flag fell tonight, and actually that contact with the wall has snugged him up just a little bit. So for the 77, still running some of his best laps of the race. So a little bit of contact, but right now the 77 hanging on. They want to get down pit road, make another adjustment, and they still think they're in this thing, Rick.
Yeah, Hermie, the last time by, he was the second fastest truck on the racetrack.
And I'll tell you what, if running into the wall had made my car better over the years, I'd have won some more races.
You hit the wall a few times?
It actually hurt our cars, didn't it?
I don't have this kind of luck that Armand's got going on right now. That last time by, second fastest truck on the track
43.
with some right side damage.
Still, it's Eric Jones out in front. The gap has closed, though. Ryan Blaney just 1.2 seconds back now.
You know, we've had threatening weather. It's rained on and off 2 or 3 times today. You know, we're only 12 laps right now from halfway, which would be an official race. Forecast says we're pretty good right now, but you don't know in the back of the minds of some of these guys like Ryan Blaney said, hey, let me get a little bit closer to Eric Jones here as we get towards halfway.
And a lot of crew chiefs probably also looking at radars and making sure that rain won't spoil this race before the end is scheduled to go. Eric Jones still out front. Here's the gap between 1 and 2. Eric Jones and the 51 is out front. The 29 of Ryan Blaney has been all over the back bumper of that 51 as they got into some traffic, but now they have separated a little bit.
These trucks just put a lap on Ron Hornaday. You see Hornaday there in that black and red truck. Now a lap down after that crash on the front straightaway.
That clean air is really working for Eric Jones. As you mentioned, He lost in his entire lead in traffic to Ryan Blaney. Ryan actually took a couple runs at him while we're away at commercial break, and right now Eric Jones has opened it back up to about a half a second or about 6 truck lengths.
Caution came out around 40 when the trucks were able to come on to pit road, and so we've gone over 50 laps of green flag racing, and Eric Jones continuing to lead. His teammates falling off the pace just a little bit. Darrell Wallace Jr. running third, Herbie.
You're right, Rick. He started up front, led some laps early on. Now he's feeling a little bit of pressure from the 88 of Matt Crafton. His truck is not to his liking. Listen to some radio communication between Bubba Wallace and his crew chief.
Way tight on exit both corners. 4 tight, 4 tight.
He's been saying that since the very beginning. Early in the race, there's a 1 or 2 tight on a scale of 10. Now it's getting even tighter, losing some speed. And as you can see, the 88 just made a pass, dropped Bubba Wallace back to 4. So they definitely need to get back to pit road.
I love the fact that Matt drove up to the high side of the racetrack to make that pass. I've been wanting somebody to go up there and do that. And it looked like Crafton said, I think that Bubba's truck's a little bit slow in the center, not going to swing around the high side and make the pass work. You can see Matt would prefer to be down on the bottom. As soon as he cleared Wallace, he went down there, but he used the high lane to make that pass.
Just past the halfway point, race leader Eric Jones has about a 0.4 of a second lead over Ryan Blaney. Matt Crafton running third, Darrell Wallace Jr. and Joey Coulter, your top 5. Ben Kennedy running in the 6th position. Cole Custer 7th. Herman Quiroga hanging on to 8th, even with the right side of that truck flattened. Jeff Jaquette running in the 9th spot, and Nemechek in the 10th position right now.
Here's Johnny Sauter, the 23 of Spencer Gallagher, moves to the inside. Johnny had made his way up before that first pit stop, lost some ground on the pit stop, but I think the changes they made during that pit stop have not agreed with that truck because he's losing some spots now.
Yeah, he lost spots on pit road, and it's gotten worse since he's gone back to the track.
Justin Jennings, a little bit of a moment there, getting in the corner behind Johnny Sauter in that 63 truck.
Yeah, Jennings watched Gallagher drive around Sauter, said, I'm going to go get me some of that, and about spun around trying.
And those 3 trucks all racing for position on the track, 17th, 18th, and 19th. Sauter currently, or excuse me, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Sauter currently in the 16th spot.
And that's the problem with a short race like this. Only 200 laps at this short track here with only 2 sets of tires and more than likely 2 pit stops to put tires on. You don't get it much time to make an adjustment, and it looks like the adjustment they made to the 98 truck went the wrong way as we see Ryan Blaney go for the lead.
To the bottom of the racetrack, Ryan Blaney gets by the 51 as the 51 had slowed down for the 02 of Tyler Young.
Tyler Young running on the lead lap, racing with Jeff Burton inside the top 20, held up all the momentum of the leaders. And look, there's Jones to the bottom trying to get back around Blaney.
I think Eric Jones wants that lead back. He lost it in traffic here. Ryan Blaney really took advantage of a situation, got that lead now he has the clean air. We'll see what that 29 Ford can do in clean air.
You know, we talked to Bubba Wallace before the race, and he talked about patience, how that if he lost some track position, he had to be patient. I like the race that Ryan Blaney has run. Talk about patience. He's had a chance to force the issue and grab the lead. He just bided his time, saw the opportunity when the lap traffic got in the way of leader Eric Jones, and then jumped on that opportunity. So what a great job tonight by Ryan Blaney.
And right now we're riding along with Jeff Burton, and he's being chased by Ryan Blaney. Take a look now from the 29.
You see he lost his momentum exiting the corner. The slow truck of Jennifer Jo Cobb slowed up Tyler Young, and then Jones committed to go high, and Blaney shot to the bottom.
Took that spot away. The 29 of Ryan Blaney able to get by the 13, and now Eric Jones also trying to get by the 13 as well.
98 continues to struggle. Johnny Sauter, the 63 of Justin Jennings got by. Now John West Townley in the 05 Zaxby's Toyota is also getting by Johnny Sauter. Johnny's in serious trouble.
Let me remind you, that's the 3rd place truck in the championship standings as they run right now, and he's struggling mightily.
He's the last truck on the lead lap. Here comes Ryan Blaney right now, about to lap, as you mentioned, 3rd in the point standings. Johnny Sauter.
He was our leader coming in here in the point standings, and right now looking to go a lap down.
Ryan Blaney, as they run on the track, taking over the points lead and looking very strong and potentially getting back to victory lane.
How about that? He grabs the lead, laps the point leader coming in, has the point lead. Everything's going well for Blaney tonight.
Here comes Eric Jones trying to get by, a little bobble there as he works by the 98 of Johnny Sauter.
Eric had to pinch it down a little bit to get underneath the 98. Lost the back end for just a second here, but he finds himself now about 6-8 truck lengths behind Blaney.
Matt Crafton is running in the 3rd spot, and he is almost 5 seconds behind race leader Ryan Blaney. So that's how quick and what a torrid pace the top 2 are setting right now at Iowa Speedway.
Ryan Blaney's going to complete lap number 110. That means now with 90 to go, we're pretty much in our window. If the caution flag were to come out now, we would be able to make it the rest of the way.
Ray Dunlap, the 98, continues to fall back.
Johnny Sauter on the radio says his right front on this truck is bouncing like a basketball. He said we have absolutely no grip, sliding the tires all the way through the corner. And after our first practice today, they had taken the entire right front assembly off of that truck and changed it. But obviously it didn't work out very well. Jeb Burton going below the 98. Sauter out of control in all 4 corners.
Wow, you got to wonder about an air pressure adjustment or what they could have done to that truck. Like you said, Phil, in the first run, he was solid, moving toward the front. You can see right there, it just will not turn in the center of the corner as Burton just drives away from him.
You got to be worried about him using that right front tire, too. Johnny's trying to get all he can get here and try to stay up as much as he can with our leaders, but it's not working for him.
Ryan Blaney pulling away now from Eric Jones. He has almost a second gap between the top 2, Matt Crafton, Darrell Wallace Jr., and Joey Coulter, your top 5. And welcome back to the American Ethanol 200 from Iowa Speedway. Could Ford make its way back to victory lane and become the first manufacturer other than Toyota to win in 2014? Ryan Blaney looking very strong.
We got another big pit stop to make here, though, probably inside 10-15 laps.
And these guys are battling inside the top 15 just ahead of Justin Lofton, Spencer Gallagher. They're going a lap down here, so Blaney's setting a torrid pace, a couple of tenths of lap faster than the competition, Bill.
And Hermie, how is our leader feeling right now?
Much better. On the first pit stop, he came down pit road. They went up on the track bar and added a half a pound to the right rear for a tight truck. But listening to Ryan Blaney, he is very happy with this truck. Listen to him talking to his crew chief, Chad Kendrick.
Oh, pretty good here, Chad. Pretty good. Okay. Right now, you're saying no adjustment. We'll just put 4 tires of fuel in it. Yes,
That's music to the ears of a crew chief. He's out front with a truck with very good balance. So around 10 more laps or so, we'll see all the leaders down pit road, and it'll be 4 tires, no adjustments for the leader, Ryan Blaney.
I wouldn't adjust it either. He's put 2.5 seconds between himself and Eric Jones, and we thought Eric Jones was very strong at the start of this race.
Bubba Wallace to pit road. The leaders are starting to come down. We thought around lap 130 would be when we would see these stops begin to happening, but it's earlier, Phil.
Yeah, he got in his window, said, I may want to get me some more laps with fresh tires. Hermie, what's going on with the 54?
Well, his truck has been way too tight. Pretty much the entire night has gotten worse since the sun has gone down on this racetrack. It's going to be 4 tires, some Sunoco fuel, and air pressure adjustment as well. They've got to get this truck freed up, especially on the exit to the corners.
How long can our leader afford to stay out on the track if all this competition starts to come down? Having those fresher tires, though, later in the going could be an advantage. And Blaney's truck has fallen off less than anyone else's, so maybe he runs some laps here.
Yeah, I think right now Ryan Blaney only worries about the 51 of Eric Jones because he has a huge trouble. Caution's going to come out right now.
The 12 goes around. That is Eric Cottle. And Eric,
left rear tire is gone on that truck.
Looked as though he was going to catch it, but back into the infield he goes. Caution comes out with 75 to go.
How about that horrible break for the 54 Bubba Wallace?
Yeah, he's going to be 2 laps down. He'll wave around for one of those laps, but
he's still going to find himself 1 lap down.
Yeah.
Just a bad break. It was a good strategy to try to get in, use those new tires a little bit longer than some of the other guys, but he got bit.
A couple of lap trucks making some contact on the front straightaway, and that contact cut down the left rear tire on Cottle's truck, and around he went.
That's Brian Silas, who's having a great run here. He's on the inside of Cottle, and just that little bit of contact right there probably ripped the valve stem out of that tire.
And you could see the leader was right behind Silas. Silas is on the lead lap, running in the 12th spot. He was trying to make a forced play down to the inside of the lap truck of Cottle, made contact, spun him around, and Ryan Blaney was right on their tailgate.
That leaves us with just 12 trucks right now on the lead lap. We'll have a free pass. Looks like possibly Spencer Gallagher may get the free pass. That'll give us 13 trucks on the lead lap.
And the front of the 17 of Timothy Peters no longer on that truck. He's going to come back out, see if he can continue to make some laps. Coming in, he was inside the top 5 in the point standings. He has dropped 4 positions already from the damage to the front of that truck. He and Ron Hornaday had some issues earlier in this race.
What about guys like Johnny Sauter and Justin Lofton and Jeb Burton off the lead lap, and Brian Silas soldiering along and staying right on the lead lap with another chance for a solid top 10 finish?
Yeah, and Chase Pistone right now running in the 11th spot. Jeff Jacquet running up in the top 10. Tyler Reddick, John Hunter Nemechek all up in the top 10 right now.
And pit road is open, so that means we will be seeing Ryan Blaney and Eric Jones, Matt Crafton, Joey Coulter, Ben Kennedy. Top 5. All the lead lap trucks will be making their way onto pit road, potentially their final stop of the night.
No mistakes now. Can have no mistakes on this pit stop.
Big stop for all these teams. Ryan Blaney leading the lead lap trucks onto pit road. Ray Dunlap.
And Rick, his teammate is having a good run tonight. That would be Tyler Reddick, and Tyler is in the number 19. He'll be at the top of your screen. Broken Bow Records is the sponsor on this truck, and he said he really likes his entry, so they're going to go with no adjustments. In the middle of the screen, number 31, theheaters.com. Ben Kennedy said he's chattering the right front tire a little bit. His crew chief Eric said he'd make an air pressure adjustment on the right side. Hermie?
Ryan Blaney had a nice little advantage over the 51 of Eric Jones coming to pit road. 4 tire Sunoco fuel for the 29. No adjustments you see on the right side of your screen. Eric Jones in the 51, 4 tires. Down and away, and it's a battle to the exit of pit road, and Eric Jones will take the lead off pit road.
Blaney had a little bit of struggle on pit road there. Eric Jones took advantage of that. Eric Phillips and his guys got him out there first.
Job again. Awesome. Thanks.
There you hear it.
Yeah, what a great pit stop by that team.
So 4 tires and fuel to go the rest of the way for the 51 of Eric Jones.
Ben Kennedy had a bit of an issue coming to pit road. Looks like they stopped.
And Cole Custer's going to get into the back of it.
Oh, no harm, no foul.
Incidental contact.
Still lost a few spots, did Ben Kennedy. Maybe a little bit damage to the left, right rear there, Phil?
A little bit.
We'll be back for the green flag restart. Green flag back in the air, and the battle is on for the lead. Ryan Blaney on the inside. Eric Jones, he stole the lead away from pit road, and now trying to hang on to that lead through 3 and 4.
Man, did he drive that Toyota down into turn 3 there and was able to get around Blaney and hold the lead. Great job by the pit crew, and then the driver did his job on the restart.
What about Herman Quiroga running in the 3rd spot right now, looking very strong?
Good pit work. Remember, he got into the outside wall right after our last restart. That actually helped his truck. In a great spot right now.
In the 3rd position behind him, Matt Crafton, Cole Custer rounding out our top 5 after this restart. Now it was the lap traffic that stole the lead away from the 51 of Eric Jones. He's going to have a clean track for a little while here now as this restart has just gotten back underway.
Dude, close situation right there. Johnny Sauter looked like he was going to try to get around Timothy Peters before he got to the corner at the last second. He had a couple trucks above him. Now he's going to move to the inside. 3 wide. Bubba Wallace on the outside.
Bubba Wallace able to clear that 0-2 of Tyler Young, and Johnny Sauter running aggressively on the bottom of the racetrack.
Johnny right now is being shown 2 laps down. Bubba Wallace only 1 lap down, but Bubba Wallace is not in the free pass spot right now. Justin Lofton, the 20 truck, is. That's what Bubba Wallace has his sights set on right now, is getting up there and getting in the free pass spot.
Justin Lofton, Jeb Burton, John West Townley, Mason Mingus, all in front of Darrell Wallace Jr. a lap down.
Well, we talked at the beginning of the show about Bubba saying things don't go right. You got to be patient. Wow, couldn't have gone much worse on that green flag pit stop. Losing 2 laps, finds himself back in the 18th spot. 4 or 5 trucks from being able to get that free pass and back on the lead lap with a truck that he could have won with.
He's led 41 laps tonight. Again, as you mentioned, a lap down. Lap leaders today, Eric Jones has led 68 laps. Darrell Wallace Jr. 41, Ryan Blaney 25. And we mentioned earlier today that if you lead the most laps, a lot of times you don't end up winning this race. And right now, it's race leader Eric Jones who has led the most laps tonight.
I love this team here. Not only did Armand Quiroga make contact with the outside wall and has recovered from that, but the pit crew did their job down on pit road. Butch Hilton, what a great team they put together here week in and week out. This is the next truck you think about maybe pulling into victory lane. He's certainly been fast enough.
Cole Custer, another solid run here. Cole had a 6th place finish at Gateway a few weeks ago, right now running in the 5th spot. Ben Kennedy also having a good run here. Ben started way back. Right now we're running up in the 7th spot.
And you mentioned Jeff Jaquette earlier. 8th is where he's running now. That's his career best, which was done right at this racetrack.
Bubba Wallace able to get by Mason Mingus. That's another one of the trucks that he had to get by. Right now he still has a few more trucks to get up there and get in that free pass spot. He's got to get by the 13 of Jeff Burton and the 20 of Justin Lofton to get in the free pass spot.
Yeah, and the laps are winding down.
How about your top 8 right now? All different teams.
No teammates up in the top 8.
No, very impressive. It is a Toyota that is out front, though, and they have won all 8 races in 2014. Can they win the night? Eric Jones looking for his 2nd win. Continues 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Out in front of the field by a second. Eric Jones has that gap between himself and the number 29 of Ryan Blaney. Armand Quiroga running 3rd. Here's a side-by-side battle between Joey Coulter and Ben Kennedy. Coulter on the outside, Ben Kennedy on the inside.
Yeah, great battle for the 5th spot. Joey Coulter really has come on here. The last several races, a 12th place finish is the worst that he's finished. Really been solid here. Good top 5 run here a few weeks ago as well.
Those two just battled their way around Cole Custer to take away the 5th spot from Custer. They were side by side, almost 3 wide, battling for that spot. And Kennedy's been down on the inside of Coulter ever since they made the move around Custer, but he just can't get the job done, can't finish it off. What a great run by Ben Kennedy tonight. Started back outside the top 15 and has been able to fight his way up toward the top 10 solidly.
Ben's part of that potent Turner Scott Motorsports team, our champion from a couple years ago with James Busher,
who was driving the 31 when he won his championship.
And Ben has the best finish that all Turner Scott has this year. He had a 3rd place finish at Martinsville. That's the best we've seen out of Turner Scott this year.
Still searching for their first victory of 2014. And again, Ben Kennedy running in the 6th position just behind Joey Coulter. NASCAR warning the 12 of Harry Cottle. Going to have to pick the pace up just a bit. There is a minimum speed you have to maintain. If you do not maintain that minimum speed, you will be black flagged.
Pretty big lead right now for Eric Jones. You see him, that's him right now going by the start finish line. We're riding along with Ryan Blaney. Ryan's being shown about a 2nd and a 3rd behind right now. Got beat by a 1/4 of a second that last lap by Eric Jones.
Eric doesn't want to get caught up in this slower lap traffic, and so he's put some distance between himself and 2nd place Ryan Blaney as he works by some of these slower trucks.
Yeah, and Blaney's got a pretty good gap over Armand Quiroga, who runs along in the 3rd spot.
Eric Jones is in some traffic right now. He's able to get by on the inside. You see him right there. There was a side-by-side battle. TJ Bell in the 50. Taylor Malsom in the 32. Eric got by without losing much ground.
Just 47 laps to go. Eric Jones has been to victory lane before in the Truck Series, but it's really been Kyle Busch who has dominated in the 51 in 2014. Eric Jones started a streak back in Phoenix in 2013, the 2nd from the last race of the 2013 campaign, by winning at that racetrack. Then it was Kyle Busch that went back to victory lane the very last race of the year in Homestead, and then he picked it right back up when we went to Daytona. Kyle Busch won at Daytona, and Kyle has won 5 races already this year of the 8 we have run. Toyota has dominated. They've won all 8 races this year. Darrell Wallace Jr. also has been to victory lane from Kyle Busch Motorsports, so they have won 6 of the 8 races already in 2014.
Yeah, pretty amazing domination by one team, and certainly the Toyota domination as well. And right now Ryan Blaney is just holding back a little bit over a second behind right now. Looked like Ryan Blaney's truck got better the longer they went that earlier run now, but right now inside of 50 laps to go, 44 laps to go. He needs to get a little bit closer in touch, I think, with Eric Jones, maybe put some pressure on him.
I think we have to tip our hats to the driver of the 77, Herman Quiroga. A Ram Guts and Glory goes to that driver and that team. Early in this race, coming out of turn number 4, a little bit high and into the wall. They flat-sided the truck, and Herman Quiroga has been able to battle through that and currently running in the 3rd position.
How interesting is it that he reported that he thought his truck got a little bit better after that contact in the outside wall? He was loose before that, maybe pushed that right front fender in. We talk about the speeds here, tremendous speed down into the corners here, so aerodynamically it could have been just the tweak that he needed. It looked like a little bit more than a tweak to me, though. He bounced off that outside wall, but yet he's running in the 3rd spot.
Good battle right here. There's Cole Custer. We talked about Cole losing that 5th spot to that Coulter Kennedy battle. Here he is right now. The 97 of Choquette is on his way there to that battle, trying to better his career best finish, which he set here a couple years ago. Jeff Choquette doing a real nice job. This is not a full-time team here. It's really difficult for a new team to come in this series and compete with these guys, and that 97 team is doing it here tonight.
You know, you just have so much information when you run all the races. These guys were just at Gateway, a track somewhat similar to this. They understand the setup that worked well there, so they can come here and just tweak that. Choquette's team has done an amazing job of being competitive here with no more experience than they have.
They've been very impressive in this run tonight. And Iowa seems to be Jeff Choquette's racetrack, as he has his career best finish here of 8th and currently running in that 8th spot now.
See that blue truck right behind them? That's Tyler Reddick, the 19 truck. His best career finish is also 8th. That came earlier this year at Dover.
And once again, the lap traffic has closed the gap between 1 and 2. Ryan Blaney now just 0.3 of a second behind race leader Eric Jones. So there you see the gap between 1 and 2 with 39 laps to go.
Phil, you talked about it. Felt like earlier that this 29 truck just got better and better compared to the competition the further we went. We heard reports from Ray Dunlap down in the pit that their tires looked perfect when they took them off, saying that that number 29 truck is really handling well, so he could come on strong here and take this lead away from Eric Jones. Jones is having problem getting around Mason Mingus. He's tied up in that lap traffic.
He's got to figure out the right line. He looks to the inside now. Mason Mingus, we'll see if he gives him some room. He does. And Ryan Blaney's going to follow right in his tire tracks down at the bottom of the track near the apron.
See, Ryan Blaney's groove was not affected at all. He was able to enter and make a nice arc into the corner where Eric Jones had to drive that truck too straight in the corner to get underneath Mason Mingus. And you see Ryan Blaney right now within a couple truck lengths.
Yeah, and it was just a few laps ago that Eric Jones had a second and a half lead over this 29 truck. So as a driver, that makes you really nervous seeing somebody closing in on you like that, especially getting this late in the race. He thought he was on cruise control, had things well in hand. Ryan Blaney said, "Not so quick, young man."
Two young drivers here battling for the lead and potentially the win at Iowa. Ryan Blaney has visited victory lane here before, back in 2012.
Same situation that time. Ryan Blaney able to take his arc in the corner. You see him close up. Now he loses a little bit of ground on exit of 4. There's Eric Phillips, crew chief for Eric Jones right now, watching with some interest.
And the winningest crew chief in the history of the Camping World Truck Series is Eric Phillips.
Ryan Blaney's crew chief right there. Chad Kendrick watching. Ryan, he knows it's in Ryan's hand right now. They know he has a good truck. He's within a couple truck lengths right now with 35 laps to go.
You can tell that Blaney's driving that truck hard too. Wobbling off turn 4 there. It looked like maybe the front end pushed a little bit and the back end came around, but he's all over the back tailgate.
Got plenty of time here. 34 to go, buddy. 34 to go.
And you're hearing the crew chiefs giving him a little bit of incentive, saying you've got plenty of time. You don't have to make the pass right away. 34 laps to go.
Now, Phil, if I could pick, I would want to be Ryan Blaney right now. I think he's proven that he's got a little bit better truck. He ran Eric Jones down. He's taking his time. He's pacing himself, setting himself up for a chance to pass him late in the going.
And we'll be back for it if it happens here shortly. Eric Jones in front of Ryan Blaney. Welcome back to the Iowa Speedway and the American Ethanol 200. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Things heating up once again for the top two. Eric Jones in front of Ryan Blaney. The two have been able to clear the 13 of Jeb Burton, and that looked like it might be one of the more difficult things for Eric Jones to do, as we see the 77 of Herman Quiroga move up the racetrack and the 88 of Matt Crafton gets by.
Well, Matt took advantage of Herman Quiroga getting hung in behind Mason Mingus. That is a battle for the third spot here. Quiroga's going to try to fight back on the inside, but Crafton has it.
Crafton early on this season was able to lead the points. Would like to be the first driver ever in the history of the Camping World Truck Series to repeat as its champion.
Oh man, tough break for Brian Silas. He'd stayed on the lead lap, was running in the 11th spot. Now he's coming to pit road with some sort of problem. Looks like all of his tires are up.
He goes into his pit stall and they're going to add fuel. Maybe not be running.
Maybe they didn't get it full of fuel on the last pit stop. You see him trying to restart it.
Yeah, still pouring out lights and everything, but you won't fire back up.
As you mentioned, Michael, what a tough break. What a fine job he was doing here.
On the lead lap in the 11th spot, battling for a top 10. Man.
There's the gap between 1 and 2. Eric Jones has about a half a second lead over Ryan Blaney, Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, and crew chief Chad Kendrick has been telling Ryan Blaney they think they have a chance. They've been watching the 51 truck, how he runs and when his truck falls off. Listen to crew chief Chad Kendrick.
Be nice and patient, buddy. We still ain't at that 25 to go part. That's when his starts falling apart.
So they're reminding his driver 25 to go. They expect the 51 to slow down, but now it's 20 to go. So if the 29 is going to get up and challenge the 51, he needs to get on with it.
Man, I was with the crew chief on that call too, Hermie. I thought it looked like Eric Jones was falling apart, his truck going away somewhat, and Ryan Blaney drove right up to him. But man, he's pulled it back together, hasn't he? Now that truck seems solid again.
Camping World 20 to go. Eric Jones in front. He has led the most laps. He's over 112 led. That makes 113 as he just crossed the start-finish line. Ryan Blaney running in second. He's the highest running Ford and the highest running non-Toyota manufacturer. It has been an all-Toyota season in 2014, and once again your race leader is driving a Toyota, but a little bobble there by the 51, and that closes the gap now between 1 and 2.
It's a pretty heavy traffic too coming up. That's Spencer Gallagher right now. He's the last truck on the lead lap, wants desperately to stay on the lead lap. John West Townley running in the 15th spot, lapping by Norm Benning in the 57. Heavy traffic for our leader.
And remember, that's how he lost the lead earlier. They got in traffic and Blaney was able to capitalize on it. And here comes Blaney.
Way up the racetrack with the 57 of Norm Benning, though. That made Ryan Blaney go up a little bit higher line than I'm sure he wanted to. But he still has the 51 in his sights. You mentioned a lot of traffic in front of this 51. Eric Jones trying to hang on to the lead, but he's got a lot of trucks in front of him. And around goes the 23, almost around goes the 23. That closes the gap now. Here comes Ryan Blaney. 23 bobbles right in front of Eric Jones. He has to get out of the gas. That puts the 29 right on his back bumper. Here's the battle for the lead. Side by side. Ryan Blaney moves to the inside.
Ryan's going to have the advantage when they get down to the corner.
3 wide as they go through 1 and 2. Eric Jones trying to hang on to that lead. They're 3 wide, they bump as they go down the backstretch. Eric Jones comes out in front of the 29 of Blaney. Now Blaney once again to the inside, trying to take the lead away.
Wow, Blaney was sideways down on the bottom of the racetrack, got into Jones, but yet they both kept him heading in the right direction. This is a great battle for the lead.
15 laps to go. Ryan Blaney to the inside, trying to get by Eric Jones. He's able to get back out in front as they go by Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Eric Jones used that Jennifer Jo Cobb truck for a pick and opened up 2 or 3 truck lengths. Ryan Blaney got a little bit loose down there.
Eric Jones, will that truck be going away from him as they get a little later? 3 wide for the lead.
Watch these trucks out of control. Look at Blaney sideways into Jones, but yet they didn't come off the gas at all.
Right along with Ryan Blaney.
You can hear the rear tires spinning on that 29 truck. What amazing driving by these young drivers.
And the crew chief thinks he's got it. Just not quite enough. And Eric Phillips cheering on his young driver. 13 to go. Last 5 races here. The driver that has led the most laps has failed to go on to win this race. Can Eric Jones change that statistic tonight?
Well, he withstood a good challenge by Ryan Blaney. Ryan was able to catch up to Eric Jones in traffic. Looked like he had him passed, and Eric Jones just fought back.
Currently 10 trucks on the lead lap. John Hunter Nemechek running in that 10th spot. Eric Jones inside of 12 laps remaining.
Phil, this is so close, and these guys have used up all their tires. They're just running on the edge of control. That had to hurt Blaney's right rear as sideways as he got. You heard him spinning that tire from inside his truck. That had to hurt the grip back there, but yet he's still able to keep pace with Jones. He's going to make another charge at him, I think.
Eric Jones running the higher line. Ryan Blaney's been trying to hug that yellow line.
Well, there's no give up in either one of these drivers. Both of them driving absolutely as hard as they can. Blaney closes it up to a couple truck lengths.
10 laps to go at Iowa.
18-year-old Eric Jones holding off 20-year-old Ryan Blaney. Wow, what a great battle.
Jones got a little bit sideways there in the middle of the corner.
As you mentioned, the tires going away on these trucks. The last time they were on pit road, it was 62 laps ago. So they have 62 laps on these tires. And we have under 10 laps to go, now 9 to go.
What do you think it's like up there in Loudon, New Hampshire with the Brad Keselowski team bus and the Kyle Busch team bus as well, trying to figure out which one of those organizations is going to grab this win? Can Toyota make it 9 straight? Or is Ryan Blaney in that Ford going to steal the win late here?
Here's Joey Coulter looking at the inside of Matt Crafton. Coulter and Crafton fighting for the 3rd position. Coulter trying to take it away from Crafton.
What a great run for Joey Coulter.
Just a solid run. Been solid here. The Legionnaire Chevrolet here. The GMS Racing.
It's Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney, Matt Crafton, and Joey Coulter fighting for the 3rd spot. Then Kuroga running in the 5th position. Ben Kennedy is 6th. Jeff Jaquette has moved up to the 7th position. Cole Custer is 8th. Reddick and Nemechek rounding out the top 10.
What about a late caution here?
Oh, goodness.
Somebody gets a little bit out of control. We see how close to sliding around these guys are. We have a caution. No telling what will happen on a green-white checkered.
Fighting for every position on the racetrack. Eric Jones has 0.4 of a second over Ryan Blaney while this battle for 3rd continues. Coulter can't get by that 88.
I don't think traffic's going to be an issue for our 2 leaders up here. They have a full corner before they get to the next truck. Johnny Sauter's in front of them. Coulter trying hard to get by that 88 of Crafton.
Hard to hold your truck steady on the bottom of the racetrack too. Coulter's got to be careful. Slides up into Crafton here late in the going, battling for that 3rd spot.
The gap between 1 and 2 on the left side of your screen. The battle for the 3rd spot on the right side of your screen. Just 5 laps of racing remain. 6 truck lengths separate 1 and 2. A bumper separating 3 and 4. Eric Jones out in front in the 51 as he goes by another lap truck. Ryan Blaney trying to close the gap. 4 laps of racing to go.
Joey Coulter's going to take another run at Matt Crafton, trying to do it on the bottom.
Ryan Blaney picked up a couple of 10ths of second on our leader Eric Jones that lap by.
Phil, as you mentioned, the lap trucks shouldn't play a role in this one, but they are closing in on them as they come up on 3 laps to go.
They may catch a couple slower trucks here when they get in the next lap or so. You see them running side by side in front of them. Norm Benning on the outside, Jennifer Jo Cobb on the inside.
What's the best line for Eric Jones? He's going to go the high line around Jennifer Jo Cobb. Going to look to the outside of Norm Benning as well. This time by, it'll be 2 laps to go. Race leader Eric Jones just in front of Ryan Blaney.
Eric did a nice job negotiating that traffic.
Eric has a win under his belt.
Oh, we got a couple of
in
trucks.
2013.
Some contact on the front straightaway.
A little bit slow there for John West Townley in the 0-5. The two battling for the third spot. Matt Crafton and the 21 of Joey Coulter continue that fight.
White flags in the air.
One more to go for Eric Jones. That's the gap between 1 and 2. Ryan Blaney running second. Eric Jones trying to keep the 51 dominance going in 2014 and trying to get back to victory lane as he works his way through 3 and 4.
No pressure right here.
Eric Jones wins for the second time in his career.
Yeah, baby!
The battle for third. Joey Coulter's going to try the high line to get by the 88 of Crafton. Crafton hangs on for third.
Good job.
How about Cole Custer trying to hold off Reddick? That's a fight for the 8th position, and Cole Custer's going to grab it.
What a great performance by Eric Jones. That truck went away, it looked like, with about 25 to go, but he was able to make some adjustments inside that cockpit, despite the fact the truck wasn't sticking well, and make some adjustments and get to the victory lane.
And how about hats off to his crew? Because remember the last pit stop, Eric Jones was not your race leader coming onto pit road, but he was coming off of pit road.
Remember we talked about how important that last pit stop was, how important clean air was. Eric Jones used it to his benefit.
Second career win for Eric Jones in just his 9th start. He's the 7th different winner here at Iowa.
I'm surprised he has enough tires to burn off the way he was driving that thing.
And how about this statistic? 7 of the 9 races this year have been won by Kyle Busch Motorsports.
With 3 different drivers.
3 different drivers.
Dominance, Rick.
They have dominated the 2014 season. And Toyota, their manufacturer, has been along for the ride. It has been an impressive run for Toyota in 2014 and a very impressive performance tonight by young Eric Jones. At just the age of 18, he will be going back to victory lane, and we will be there to see it. But first, let's go out to the LA studios. Thank you, Jay and Dan. And I'm sure we're going to have a good time joining you guys later on this evening. But right now, it's celebration time for Eric Jones. He hasn't had a top 10 finish when he's been able to drive the 51 up until now. But every time Kyle Busch got into the 51, he's been in victory lane. So Eric Jones knew that the equipment was good, and now he proves it by getting his second career win.
But he had fast trucks. He got taken out in a couple accidents late in the going with in contention to win. So Eric Jones knew he had a fast truck. He knew he had a fast truck all year long. He just needed to put it all together, and with a little bit of help from his pit crew, he did it tonight.
And what a great job he did, making some different line changes where he could get that truck to victory lane. He had all the pressure in the world on him from Ryan Blaney, but he pulled it off.
And Ryan Blaney, a very valiant effort toward the end of this race, trying to get the lead back away from Eric Jones, but just couldn't make it happen. Let's go to Ray.
Well, 5 consecutive top 5s for this team. You guys have had a good run. You had it out front for a little while. Did you think you had a shot to win this one, Ryan?
Yeah, I thought, it's hard to tell now, but you know, if we would have come out with the lead, it might have played out a little bit differently. Eric was really good on a short run. I knew we kind of struggled a little bit, and we made a change that kind of helped that, and it did a little bit, but I was so tight once I got close to him, it was hard to go anywhere, but and I got really loose under him right here, but trying to make a move, but you know, props to these guys at BKR to get, you know, that much better from practice to the race. You know, we weren't very good to start the day off, and they did a great job of getting this Cooper Standard Ford F-150 a lot better. So I'm tired of seeing that truck in victory lane. You know, we got to get a Ford back in there, and I got to get one here for Brackett's last race. And so we're making strides, and that's the right direction for our company.
All right, puts him right in good shape in the points, just a couple back behind Crafton.
Yeah, that's a good point. We bring up points. Coming into this race, it was a battle between Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, those guys fighting it out at the top of the point standings. Now, a little bobble by Johnny Sauter. He drops 2 positions down to the 3rd spot. Ryan Blaney moves up to 2nd.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney is going to be strong. He was one of our picks at the beginning of the year to challenge for this championship, and he's certainly going to do that. Johnny Sauter, as you mentioned, stumbled just a little bit now, but still within striking distance, only 7 points back.
Yeah, Sauter finishes 18th and is only 7 back. He's got to get it together. This was a tough race for that organization. the adjustments they made on that first pit stop. Then they had a tire, it looked like, maybe come apart a little bit on them. So a tough night for Johnny Sauter. But, man, Crafton, just think about what might have been. 2 crashes running first and second, or he might have a big point lead.
How about Kyle Busch Motorsports and the way 2014 started? Rowdy with that very close finish at Daytona. Gets to victory lane. He backs it right back up with another win. He has 5 wins already on the season. He's been dominant.
Every time he stepped in that 51 truck, he's gone to victory lane.
And Eric Jones has been fast in the 51 truck. Like you said, Phil, a couple of crashes, the only thing that's kept him from having a shot to win late in the going as well. And today, he closed the deal.
And Bubba Wallace has been fast. He got to victory lane. He had a second-place finish to the boss last time out. And tonight, he had a great truck, but unfortunately, an early pit stop under green, and it didn't happen for him.
And now, once again, Kyle Busch Motorsports in victory lane. Let's go there with Hermie Savage.
The confetti is flying in victory lane at Iowa. Eric Jones, second career victory in the Camping World Truck Series. Congratulating his guys. Eric, that was a classic short track battle. Congratulations on your second career Camping World Truck Series victory.
I appreciate it. That was awesome. We definitely drove it hard, and there was nothing left in that thing at the end. But just a great race there with Ryan, and great competitor, great guy to race against. Thank you. Just raced me hard, raced me clean. I thought we showed a lot of respect to each other. So happy to get this Toyota Care Tundra victory lane. Everybody at KBM, pit crew did a great job. Camp World, fans, Butlerville seats, everybody, man.
I bet that battle with the 29 was showing some of it on the replay tonight. You seem to be better on a short run. He came back on a long run, and then you guys battled side by side for several laps.
Yeah, it was intense. You know, we came out of the pits first, and we got the lead. Thanks to pit crew there. It was awesome. Got out, took off. He run us back down. The thing got really tight, but just kept digging and finally got side by side with him, held him off, and a little contact, but nothing more than a little short track racing.
That's Eric Jones. He's in victory lane at Iowa. Ray?
Hermie, the season started off horribly for Joey Coulter, a 32nd at Daytona, but other than that, this team's been on quite a roll. A top 5 tonight, how happy are you with that?
I'm real pumped. Our Allegiant Travel guys have been working really hard, and we've been getting better and better every week. The past 3 or 4 weeks, we've been fast. We've run up front throughout the night and just haven't put the whole thing together. And tonight, you know, we did. Pit stops were great. The truck was great. I woke up in a good mood, so it was awesome. Glad we're on a roll. I think these next few races are going to be big for us.
All right, Joey Coulter, quite a dirt racer, and remember, he won at Pocono.
Yeah, they put on a great race. Obviously, Joey Coulter and Matt Crafton fighting for the 3rd spot. Crafton gets it. But how about this racetrack? Once again, we've seen multiple lines, great racing.
Yeah, and the thing I loved is how those 2 young drivers raced it. It could have been easy for Ryan Blaney just to go knock him out of the way, but he raced him hard. They raced clean. A great race.
They might have had a foot between the three of those trucks when they come off turn 3, and they were sideways, but yet they're able to keep them heading the right direction.
Yep, and Eric Jones celebrating in victory lane. Let's head back out to the LA studios and Jay and Dan.